Hey guys, so I hope you are being good for the sub. Okay, she's a really nice lady, so I think as long as you don't disrespect her, she won't disrespect you. Okay. Your bell work, make sure to turn it in. Okay, it's really just for me to see how you are doing on algebra. Okay, it's not for an accuracy grade. Okay, it's more for a completion grade. Okay. If you're struggling, then I need to go ahead and start pulling you so that we can go ahead and get these problems out of the way. Make sure you're successful in my class. Okay. So today's the first day of geometry notes. Okay. I'm going to stop yapping because I know you're like, come on, let's get to the notes. Okay. So we're going to start with some terms, some definitions. Okay. Because I'll use these all throughout. Okay. First things first. A point is a location with no size or shape. So of course, since we're like in a video format, I'm gonna go faster than what you're writing and versus what we would do in class. So make sure to pause me. And then what's great about watching a video and me explaining things here is I've already taught it. I just finished teaching on 8-8. This is literally 4:47 on Friday night before I leave for my trip. Okay. You get to rewind me. You get to repeat what I say. Okay, and then you get to email me questions. So, pause and then write that down, of course. So, like when you drop a pin, you drop your location to your friend, you're dropping a point. Okay, well, that looks like a pin, right? What this is saying is that there's no specific shape. Okay, the ones you're going to see most common is going to be a circle. Okay, you always need to use a capital letter when naming a point. Okay, because if it was lowercase, then I'm thinking you're talking about a variable. Okay, well, again, it doesn't have to be any size or shape, so it can be like this big. Okay, but it also could just be the letter. Okay, that's point C. Okay, it's not always going to be a size or shape. There is no size or shape. Okay, there's no specific one. So now let's talk about a line. A line is made up of points with no thickness or width. So what it's saying is it can be as thick as it wants, okay? And it has no width, so it's saying it never ends. Now, since a line is made up of points, you always want to put at least 2 points on that line. So we can call this point X using capital letter, and this is point Y. Okay? Line is like one of the most things we'll talk about in geometry, okay? Because again, it's shapes, okay? Every shape has lines in it. So it's really important that you know how to name it. Okay, and we'll talk about this in a second. So how I'd write this is, of course, capital X, capital Y, and then you draw a line on top. Okay. So again, pause me as you need to. Okay. These arrows, think about what these arrows indicate. Okay, they indicate that that line is going forever and ever and ever to infinity and beyond, right? Okay. So if you say just a line, that means it's never ending. Okay? But if you're saying a line segment, you're telling me you have a measurable part of a line consisting of two endpoints. Okay? A measurable part consisting of two endpoints. So it ends, right? So you have two endpoints. We can call these P and R. Okay. And what was I about to say? Um It ends, right? Because it has an endpoint. That's why these are calling endpoints. So you can measure from point P to point R. Okay? So you still name it by using capital letters, P and R, by using 2 points on that line. But this time it's just going to be an ending line. It doesn't have arrows at the end. Okay? Now, I know you guys have talked about like array in Algebra 1, and if I were there right now, I would ask you guys, someone tell me what array looks like, give me a definition. Okay? So, since I'm not there, you would have told me it is a line that extends or goes, is probably the word you would say, indefinitely. Okay, and indefinitely means like forever and ever. So if you don't want to write that really long word, you can write forever instead. In one direction. Okay, only one. So you're saying that it has an endpoint because it doesn't go past it. Then it goes forever and ever into one direction. But still a line, right? It literally says a line that blah blah blah. So it still needs 2 points on it. And let's call it K for Kylan and then Z for Zai since they're best friends. Okay, let's see if you're actually listening. All right, so a plane. Okay, we're leaving points and we're leaving lines. Well, we're not really leaving points, but we're leaving lines. Okay, a plane is a flat surface. Okay, most of the times, just because it's easier for y'all to understand, I'll say it's a flat shape. Just because y'all will be able to identify a triangle, a square, an octagon before you identify a surface. Okay, so a flat surface or shape made up of points. So it's gonna have points in there every single time. And extends forever. In all directions because it's shapes. It has all kinds of sides, right? Okay. So for example, since I said it's a flat shape, try to identify what shape I'm drawing. Oop, that's terrible. All right, that is a terribly drawn rhombus. It looks more like a kite. Most of you guys may have said parallelogram, which you're still correct. Okay, so that is a flat shape, right? It's not 3D. Okay, it is a shape. It has closed lines, but then it's made up of points. So let's draw some points in here. Let's see. We got this one, call it J. This one, which is K, and this one is L. Okay. All right. So that is a plane. Now, collinear. If I was there, I would ask you, what word do you recognize from here? And you would probably tell me linear. And then I would ask you, what line? I mean, dang it, I said the answer. What do you like? Uh, sorry, y'all, people are messaging me. What word do you associate with linear? And you would probably tell me a line. Okay. Well, co means together. So co-linear means points that lie on the same line. Okay, so we'll have a line that goes indefinitely, in both directions. Let's draw 3 points just for fun. Okay, we have, let's see, where's my roster? Let me say some people in my 4A class. Okay, not 4A, 4B. I know, y'all probably some extra. Okay, let's do J for Jory. let's do A for Ariana. And let's do Y for Uriah. Okay. Oh, it's filled up, J. Look at that. All right. So since all three of those points are on the same line, they are collinear. Now, let's see if you guys use context clues. What does non-collinear mean? It means they do not lie on the same line. Okay. And it literally takes 1 point to throw it off. Okay. For example, J, A, and Y are collinear. Okay. Well, let's say Y wasn't on the line. Let's say JA was, and then Y wasn't on the line. Then you would say point J, A, and Y are non-collinear. It only takes 1 to mess that up, okay? So if collinear means points that lie on the same line, then coplanar means what? Points that lie on the same plane. Okay. So then I can draw a rectangle this time because it's still a plane because it is a flat surface. It's a flat shape. That's a terrible rectangle, but it's okay. It looks kind of like a trapezoid. Okay, let's have point P, Q, and R just to change things up, okay? So since these are all on the plane together, they are coplanar. But let's say we put like point, let's see, who else is in my, let's put like point E for Ethan. Okay, because E isn't on the plane, that means that point P, Q, R, and E are non-coplanar. Okay, because you're including all those, it automatically makes it non-coplanar. Because it takes 1 to mess up everything. Okay. So non-coplanar points that do not lie on the same line, the same plane, excuse me. Okay. So now that's all for vocabulary. So you're not going to go to this next page. In fact, you're going to go to the one that looks like this. Okay, it has point, line, plane, intersecting lines and planes. So go find that page. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, again, pause me. You have the capability now. And we're basically just going to review everything we just said. Okay, so a point is a, if I was there, I'd wait until you said the answer, a location, okay? It has no size or shape. It's super important. Don't forget, go grab some highlighters right now. Okay, grab some your own, maybe just 3. Okay. I think it's really helpful. And plus, when I come back, I'll look to see if your page was highlighted. So I'm serious. Okay, there's a whole supply cart with about 20 highlighters in there for you. Okay. So always use a capital letter to name a point. For example, over here, what's that capital letter? A. We would call it point A. Okay. Then a line is made up of points. Okay, more than one, at least 2 points form a line. Okay, a line has no thickness or width. And we've already talked about this, but you name any line by any 2 points on the line. Okay, for example, over here, what 2 points do we have? X and Y. So you either write out the word line XY, or you do what we did on the front or the vocabulary words. You write the letters, capitalize, and then draw a line above it. Okay. Now, you only need 2 letters when naming a line. Okay. A lot of people today in my AD classes were using 3 letters. Okay. It's only 2. Okay. The other way to write it, which you guys will like the best because it's easier, is a lowercase script letter. Okay. Script, I like to call it fancy letter. Okay. If you compare like this versus this one's more fancy because it has that little curve to it, right? So you cannot just write in, because then I'm thinking you're talking about a variable, especially since it's lowercase. Okay. You have to write the word line and then the lowercase n. Okay. Have to. Then we have collinear points, points that lie on the same line. And we have non-collinear points that do not lie on the same line. Okay. So the reason why they say you have to have at least 3 points to say it's non-collinear is because it takes 2 points to name it, right? So it takes 3 for it to name it non-collinear, okay? A plane, again, is a flat surface, and I like to call it a flat shape just because it's easier. Okay, made up of points. So a point is 1 point, a line is 2 points, any 3 points make up a plane. Okay, so for example, it would be plane KJL here. Ooh, just kidding. Actually, that's wrong. I messed up on my classes. No, okay. No. That's right. Sorry. All right, because it's any 3 non-collinear. Do you see a line inside here? No. Okay, they're not on a line together, so therefore they're non-collinear. Okay, that kind of threw me off. Or an uppercase script letter. So again, remember script means fancy. Okay, what's the fancy capital letter there? It's P. Okay. All right. And then coplanar points, kind of the same thing as collinear. Coplanar, points that lie on the same plane. Non-coplanar, points that don't lie on the same plane. You need to at least use 4 points because it takes 3 points to name it, right? Everyone say right in your head. Don't speak out loud. That's a little weird. Okay. All right, let's do intersecting lines and planes because we haven't talked about this yet. Okay, you see these 2 lines? Remember, intersect means to like cross or go through. Okay, well, where are those intersecting? At P, right? Which is a point. So they intersect at a point. Okay. Now, these are planes, right? We have plane L right here. And then we have plane M. Where do those 2 colors match? At line K. So 2 planes intersect at a line. And that's the one that most people forget, and it annoys the mess out of me. Like, you're about to practice right now, and you're going to forget that 2 planes intersect at a line. Okay? But it's okay. You gotta practice it. You'll learn. So once you have that written down, flip to the next page. Or pause me. Because I'm continuing. I have to go. Alright, 4 collinear points. Okay? Actually, I want y'all to pause and do this one by yourself. Okay? Pause me, do it by yourself, come back and get the answers. Because, again, me teaching you and you not practicing isn't going to help you. Okay, you need to quiz yourself real quick and see if you understand it. Okay, so pause. I'll give you a second to pause it. All right, 4 collinear points. So, of course, we need 4 answers. Okay, and we need points. So, that's the capital letter. Okay, collinear are points that lie on the same line. So, let's look right here. Let's look at this line. Okay, line P. Are there 4 points there? No, there's 1, 2, 3. So, that's not going to be my answer. Line Q. Does that have 3 points? 4 points? It does not have 4 points, so that can't be my answer. So my only answer could be this line, which has point H, point N, point K, and point I. So that's what we're going to put down as our answer, which is pretty easy, right? Okay. Now, question number B, we're going to find a line that contains point M. So first thing we have to do is to go find M. Okay, so it's on that. And if I trace that line, it's this one right here. Well, remember, there's 2 ways to name a line. What are they? 2 points on that line. So you could say line MO, or MN, or NO, or you can name it by a lowercase script letter, which this line does have. It's that P right there. So line P. And remember, you have to write all of this out, because if you just write this, that's a variable to me. Okay, I'm going to count it wrong. So, part C, a line that contains points H and K. Okay, well, here's a little trick with that. If it contains both those points, line H and K, then you can just name it that. Okay, a little fun fact. But if you actually did do it by yourself, you probably put line Q, which is also a correct answer. Okay, you also could have done HN, NK, all that stuff. Okay, any 2 points on that line. Okay, in any order. Okay, but just 2, no more than 2. Okay, and then you want to write another name for line Q. Now, if you did it by yourself, this is probably where you may have messed up or got confused, and you probably accidentally wrote collinear. Okay, my A-Day was doing that a lot. Collinear 1 says points that lie on the same line, so collinear isn't even describing a line. Okay, so you either use a lowercase script letter or 2 points on that line. So let's go find line Q. It's this one right here. So you can pick any 2, okay? So I'm going to pick line JK, just kidding, okay? But you can do KL, JL, all that stuff, okay? Part E, the intersection of lines P and R. Well, lines intersect at a point. 2 lines intersect at a point, okay? So if I go highlight line P and line R, let's do P in green, R in red. Those 2 colors meet at point N. Okay, so point N is where they meet. Okay, so check your answer, write them down if you didn't listen, and pause the video and do the work on your own. Okay, we'll do number 2 all together. Okay, it says use the diagram to the right to name the following. First thing is a line containing point F. So let's find point F. And let's just go the easy route. Let's name it by the lowercase script letter, which is line J. Okay? But then they said you can't take the easy way out because they want another name for line K. They already used the lowercase script letter. So they said this line right here, because the script letter is right there. So let's call it line BE. Okay, because we only need 2 points on that line. You can do BC or EC. Okay. All right, and then we need a plane containing point A, okay? Well, let's go back and look at the ways to name a plane, okay? By 3 non-collinear points, which is difficult for some people. So if they have if they have the uppercase script letter, I would prefer to do it that way. Okay, but not always will they have it, so you need to do it both. So, what is the script letter on the flat surface? M. You should have said that fancy M right there. Okay, so plane M. Or, okay, let's do it the hard way, the harder way. It's not hard, it's just not as easy. Okay, we need 3 non-collinear points on that plane. Okay, well, immediately, A is not on any line, right? So I would immediately put that one, just because I know if I have that one, then everything else will be correct. And then we can say D, E, or B, D, A, B, D. Okay, we can say plain bad, B, A, D. Okay, as long as they're 3, they're not on the plane. Okay. All right. So, well, guess what? If you did it this way, it quickly answers this question because it asks for an example of 3 non-collinear points. So we could say A, D, E again, or E, F, A, okay? All right. Now, I want everyone to look at this question. The intersection, we're going to name the intersection of plane M and line K, okay? So plane M and line K right here. Okay, I'm actually gonna, this is really weird, but I'm gonna pull up the camera so you can see me because I'm gonna do a demonstration for y'all. Let me get all my stuff first. Okay, where's the camera on this thing? Oh, no. Doing too much. All right, so look at your paper while I do this too. Okay, would you agree that this is a line? This pin, it's a line, right? It's straight. Okay, it has 2 endpoints, it ends, it's measurable. Okay, this is a line segment. Okay, well, this is a flat surface, right? So remember that when it intersects, it's saying that the line goes through it, right? So if I make this line go through the plane, it looks like this, okay? Which it looks like your diagram, right? I have it right here, okay? Looks like your diagram, okay? That one right there. Because this is B, point E, okay? And you see how, if you look at it this way, you can't see the line right here. That's the dotted part on your diagram, okay? That's the dotted part on your line. They're saying that you can't see it, but it's still there, right? If I turn this around, it's still there. It still exists, okay? So looking at your diagram, what represents this point where the line goes through the plane? You should say point E, okay? So point E is where the line intersects the plane, okay? All right. In my A-Day classes, I let them get into partners and work these by themselves or together. Okay, have some collaboration. So, sorry that I'm not there. All right, 3 coplanar points. Okay, remember coplanar means points that lie on the same line. Okay, so a lot of people choose like this part down here, V, W, and X. Okay, because they're all on this bottom one together. Okay, but remember that a plane is a flat shape. So these triangles could work. You could have done Z, V, W. Okay, if you want and you chose a different thing, then I will check it when I get back. If you would like me to, you can make a note right out here like, hey, check. Okay. Now, we want to name a plane containing point X. So let's go find point X. It's right there. Okay, well, immediately, I see this triangle, right? Okay, so let's see. If I trace it, so we have point X, because of course, it needs to be in the name. Point Z. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Not points. Plane X, Z, W. Okay, and you get to name it that because they are non-collinear. Okay, like all three of them aren't on the same line. Like it doesn't go X, Z, W. It goes X, Z, and another line does Z to W. Okay, they're not all on the same line. Okay. Now, this is the one that trips people up. I told you guys you would forget where two planes intersect at. So if you forgot, go back and look at your notes. Okay, let's go together. So remember, two planes intersect at a line. Okay, not a point, a line. So the intersection in plane R, which one is plane R? Okay, it's that big rectangle on the bottom. Okay, it's this one right here. Don't highlight this, by the way. It's this one down here, right? That's plane R. Okay. Well, which one is plane ZBY? So Z to V to Y. Okay. So, at what line does that yellow and that pink one touch? Okay, is it ZV? No, because that's the side of the triangle, right? Is it ZY? No, because that's the other side. It's VY. It's the bottom of that triangle, okay? That bottom of that triangle is touching it. Okay, so line VY is the correct answer. Alright, this one's super fun. How many planes appear in the figure? I just dropped my Stanley, y'all. I'm so sorry. Oh no, my Lonnie! Y'all, I'm ready to go home. Alright, let me set you up. I'm sorry that was a loud noise. Okay, thankfully my Lonnie fell on paper towels. So, it's like you guys are like actually here with me, hearing my disaster. Alright, let me clean that up real quick. So, I want you to write down how many planes you think appear in the figure. Okay, I want you to take a guess, pause this video, see if you're right, okay? Because a lot of people will get it, but a lot of people will also get it wrong. Okay? Ooh, let's turn the camera around. Okay. So, do you agree that this looks like the figure on your paper? Okay. It's a triangular prism. So, let's count the... Why is my brain not working? The planes. Okay, remember they are flat shapes. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, but then we have 5. Okay, this is that plane R. Okay, technically my hand is plane R. It's sitting on it. Like this is technically in your diagram. It's technically hollow. Okay, I just took that bottom out. It's hollow. So 1, 2, the side, the back, 3, the other side, 4. My hand's 5 because that represents plane R. Okay, so there are 5 planes in that figure. Okay, so always looking for the shapes. Okay, the reason why there aren't 6, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is because again, that triangle's technically hollow. Like it's just sitting on it. It's kind of like a tent, and you set it on the ground. Okay. All right. How many planes contain point W? So here's W. Okay. So it's kind of like with a plane containing point X question part B. Okay, we just have to find a shape, the shapes that contain that. Okay, so we have this triangle is a point of it, right? We had this triangle, and isn't it touching R? So therefore, it also includes that. So there are 3 that contain it. Okay? This one's a fun and easy one. I like it. Okay, kind of looks like one of the Star Wars ships or whatever. All right. So, again, reason diagram to name the following. The intersection of lines L and M. So we have 2 lines, and we know that 2 lines intersect at a what? A point is what you should be saying. Okay, so we have line L. We have line M. What points do they intersect at? Point E. Okay, they intersect there. And then we want another name for plane Q. Well, they took the easy way of answering it. They took the cursive letter, okay, the capital cursive letter. So we need to use, well, dang, I forgot how we name a plane. So I go to the plane section of my note. I look for these bullet points. All right, plane is a blah, blah, blah. Any 3 points, blah, blah, blah. Plane extends indefinitely, whatever. But then I see name. Okay, we name a plane by any 3 non-collinear points. If you've got non-collinear means they don't lie on the same plane. Okay. So we just need 3 points that don't lie on that plane. I mean, that don't lie on the same line. Okay? But they need to be on that plane, of course. Okay? So immediately, what one do y'all want to talk about? Like what point? I personally would say I, because is I on any line? No. So I immediately know if I use that, then what else I use will be called non-collinear. Okay? So then we could use F and E, which are on this line. Okay, you can use E and G. You can use F, G next. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, as long as they're on this plane, you get to use it, and it's a point. All right, I like this question. All right, put your left finger on point D. Point D. Put your right finger on point E. Okay? Are these 2 points collinear or are they coplanar? They are collinear because they're both on this line together, right? And that kind of leads in to the next question. How many times does plane P and Q intersect? You should say 0. Because remember, intersect means to touch, to go through. These aren't even touching, okay? These look parallel, okay? So there's no way they can intersect if they don't touch, okay? Well, that is today. What words? That is the end of today's lesson. Okay, you are now going to go do your homework. It's short. Okay, you have unlimited attempts to get the highest grade possible. Okay, you should get a 100 because also if you miss a question, you don't get it again. Okay, when you guys are listening to this, I'm currently heading back from Arlington, Texas. I hope I had so much fun at my concert last night. Okay, I can't wait to see y'all on Wednesday. If you have questions, please email me. I will answer. I'm not doing anything else but just being in the car. Okay, so I have all the free time in the world. Okay, so y'all be safe. I hope you enjoy your day. I hope y'all had a great weekend. And I hope you're nice to this up. Because if not, then there's going to be consequences when I get back. Okay? All right. Bye, y'all.